Welcome back. And here we go. I had not anticipated wearing a Chicago jersey after what we saw in Game 3. I really hadn't. They went with Robin Leonard in this game, and I know if you're a fan of Vegas, you might be saying, well, this one's kind of on Leonard. I wouldn't put that one on his head. All right, let's get to it's a bad remark. We'll just rewind and pretend I didn't say it, right? Yeah, all right. So early advantage to Vegas. Raw had a chance that was stopped, and honestly, right out of the gate, it looked like Crawford had it going. Crawford looked pretty good. Leonard stopped Taves, then he stopped Kubalik, and it was a pretty evenly played game. Kajula then gets the opening goal from Mata and Doc at 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and this is the first time that Chicago had a lead in the entire series. Yep, first time they had a lead in the entire series. Doesn't generally happen. Carrier was then denied by Crawford. There was some strong, aggressive first half play for the desperate Chicago Blackhawks. They didn't maintain that throughout. However, Highmore would score from Keith at 13:40. Now, when I say Highmore scored, what I mean is he shot it and Leonard tried to, when he headed it out away from the net and it was a great save recently. Remember that? It doesn't look as good when he heads it into his own net. Just throwing that out there. It doesn't look as good. Now, Vegas, having seen this on the replay, they make up for it. It's Theodore. Shea Theodore, I almost said Jose. Shea Theodore scores from Martinez and Reeves at 13:58. So 18 seconds after that goal, and still in the first period, it is 2-1 in favor of the Blackhawks. But the good news is that, that's a way to answer. They've got the momentum back in their favor. And the general play in this game was in their favor at that stage. Cousins gets a chance as Vegas was pushing for the tie. Strome takes a penalty. Vegas power play, which has no goals in this series. And Vegas's power play is becoming a bit of an issue. And honestly, it's not necessarily a big deal when you're winning, but it is a big deal when you don't win and you have those chances on the power play. So the Hawks penalty kill was holding. And Crawford was excellent. Way too many shots against, though, for the Hawks. Way too many shots for Vegas. And I said the Hawks have to tighten it up. They kind of did. I mean, there were less shots against them in the second and then the first, but I can't honestly say with a straight face they played better in the second period than they did in the first. Second period, Crawford stopped Marchessault as Vegas was swarming. We then see the Hawks get their first chances at around 3.5 minutes. And by first chances, I mean first shots as well. Leonard stopped a shot from Carpenter. Doc then tipped one defensively that went off his own post. Looks great when you deflect it and it goes out. But if that had gone in, we'd be having an entirely different conversation right now. So good defensive play by Kirby Doc. And again, this kid is coming along leaps and bounds for Chicago. And a game where not every Chicago Blackhawk played well. I thought Doc played pretty well. Boquist takes a penalty. Vegas goes to the power play on that one. And, of course, the Vegas power play continues to be an issue. Crawford was at 26 saves 39 minutes into this game. No, it's 31 minutes into this game. Sorry. Yeah, there's not that many notes in the last minute of the period. I mean, there's times where I have to make a bunch of notes in the last minute. This was not a game that did that. So at 31 minutes, 26 saves by Corey Crawford, as he is single-handedly keeping Chicago in this. Saad takes a penalty. The Hawks, I thought, were playing with fire. I figured eventually Vegas is going to put one in. Crawford was working miracles. Doc had a chance short-handed as he continued to be impressive. Carlson gets a fast break. His chance was denied. I thought Will Carlson had a good game as well. Whitecloud takes a penalty. The Hawks get a power play. The good news is Vegas' penalty kill has been excellent as well. And it was strong here, and Chandler Stevenson stands out for Vegas as being probably their best penalty killer here. Theodore then passes one to Smith that just missed on a tying goal late in the second period. But as we go into the third, it's 2-1 in favor of Chicago, and the conversation has to be one of, okay, so Chicago doesn't really belong in this game. We're seeing kind of the same thing that Arizona did to Colorado, where they rode their goaltender to a win. Chicago can't do that too, right? Like Crawford, he's had his good games along the way. He had a good game in Game 3, but we've kind of seen his play fall kind of off a bit. Like he had some iffy games against Edmonton before the excellent game to close out that series. So you kind of expect that, yeah, it's a great story, but in the third period, Vegas is going to put it to them. 6-0 record for Vegas in the return was on the line as we went into the third period. They have not lost a game yet in the bubble. Crawford stopped an early chance for Stone as Vegas went straight to the net, and they continued what they've been doing in this game. Stevenson then had a giveaway to Saad. That was saved. Probably a couple of taps of the stick for Leonard on that one. Few breaks either way in the first 5 minutes, though, as Chicago seemed to be doing their best to try to blanket the Vegas Golden Knights attack, which, with the amount of depth this team has, with the personnel this team has, it's really tough to do that. And so trying to give this team their first loss in the bubble is not an easy task, especially when you're basically saying, all right, so Corey, it's on you. And it felt like that was what was going on in this one. Leonard denied a shot on the PK here as Theodore had taken a penalty. The Hawks went back to the power play. And again, if they'd connected on the power play in that third period, it felt like it was going to be over. But when Vegas kills that off, you're thinking, all right, so Vegas is probably going to put one past Crawford here. Vegas pushed at the 8-minute mark. They pushed again at the 11-minute mark. Lots of opportunities. But now the shot blocks seem to be going up for Chicago as well, as they likely sensed, hey, we might be able to steal one. Maybe if we could block some shots here and keep Crawford from dealing with so many pucks. But it was definitely a case of the Hawks hanging on. With 1 minute and 55 seconds left, Leonard denied DeBrincat. And again, one of the storylines coming out of Game 3 was DeBrincat had 8 shots. Didn't get anything in the net. And DeBrincat's been absolutely snake bit throughout this series. Was against Edmonton as well. He has been playing well enough, just the puck won't go in the net for him. I don't have answers as to what it is with Alex DeBrincat this season, if you include the pause before, or the play before the pause to be part of this season. It just hasn't been going in the net for him. So they pull the goalie with 1.5 minutes left as they try, and they had lots of pressure and opportunities. And then at 19 minutes and 49 seconds, it's DeBrincat that gets the goal from Connor Murphy into the empty net. So DeBrincat with the empty netter, we'll see if that gets his confidence going and what happens. There's no way Chicago comes back and wins this series, but it does mean that Vegas loses the opportunity to have about a week off, potentially in between series, and now they'll have to play on Tuesday against the Chicago Blackhawks, a 3 games and 4 nights situation that, a lot of teams right now are going through. There's back-to-backs potentially in every series, depending on whether or not they all go the full 7, and not all of them are. But if they were all to go 7, everybody would have a back-to-back in there. That was something I noticed in the scheduling right away. So there isn't a lot of time to dust yourself off and get ready for the next one. And for Chicago, they stay alive for another day. For Corey Crawford, he does as well. Shots in this game, 20-8 in favor of Vegas in the first, 16-7 in favor of Vegas in the second, and 11-10 in favor of Vegas in the third. Final shots, 47-25 in favor of Vegas. Before doing this review, I even thought, I wish I had a Corey Crawford magnet I could put up here, because it's not really that the Hawks did it. It's more of Crawford, though Doc had a good game. I thought DeBrincat had a decent game. But Kane's got to get things going here, doesn't he? Like, Patrick Kane really hasn't been that visible offensively, and it's surprising. It's very surprising because he is a guy who can put the puck on his stick and just take over the game, and I haven't really seen that from him yet in this series. So, again, they're down 3-1. No, they're not going to come back and win 4 in a row, but, nice to see them make that effort and get the game here. Hits were 40-26 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. They out-hit them, they outshot them, they out-chanced them. They did everything except win the game. Power plays, both teams go for 3. Robin Leonard, 22 saves on 24 shots. Of course, he did head the winner into his own net. Yep, he did. But again, he played well. And Crawford saved 46 out of 47. Who knows? Maybe if the Highmore goal isn't headed in, maybe they don't get the Theodore answer right away either. So, the game is weird that way. Chicago ends up winning it 3-1. And we'll see if they go back to Fleury in the next game, which again is on Tuesday, or if they stay with Leonard. Peter DeBoer's been perfectly willing to switch between the goaltenders as he's between game 2 and 3 because of the backup nature or back to back nature of 3 and 4. So we'll see if he might go to Fleury in game 5 and see if that changes their fortunes. I don't really see the need, although again, if you want to say, well, if Leonard doesn't head it in, I don't have an answer for that. I can only say I think that game 5 is going to be really interesting because again, there shouldn't have been a game 5. Crawford basically said, "All right, I'm going to put the team on my back. You guys are coming with me. We're going to game 5." And the players are like, "All right." Corey says we're going to game 5. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding this game. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.